Hey, good afternoon. Michael Wynn, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, Division of RB Oppenheim Associates. And today, guys, we're going to talk about what is the hidden key to opening the door to growth for your business in 2019. The question is, has your business plateaued? Are you seeing, areas or sales starting to shrink? Why? And what can you do about it? Well, the great news is there's a lot you can do about it, and the information that you need to make a change to realize how you can make that shift or pivot if needed. Um, that information is available and it's free. Um, and it boils down to these two things. It really boils down to um, comments and reviews. It's that simple. Those two things are what comprises the information that we think of when we talk about consumer insight. And, I think that there are a lot of tools that are available for you, like Google Analytics and your Facebook Insights, and, some of those things that are out there, measurement tools. But a lot of them do not actually measure the insight and the sentiment of the public when it comes to your brand. So it doesn't matter if you sell particular products and or services. It really doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, um, people are going to have an experience with your product and or service. And so the fact of the matter is they talk about that experience online, whether they talk about that experience on their personal Facebook page, or whether they give you comments and feedback on your website, leave comments or suggestions on your location, whether you're on Yelp or Google review. But I think the problem is that so many times as business owners, when we see a comment or a review, especially if it's negative, we take it personal, and we get caught up in the minutia of who's right and who's wrong. I see that play out so many times. Just kind of as an observer of people as they comment about their experience with this business or that business. And I think too that the one thing that is difficult, as your business, we talked about this last week when we talked about, cranking up the volume for content and cranking out 1,000 pieces of creative and content for 2019, which would be about 80 pieces of content per month that you would need to crank out. Well, imagine if you did that, the kind of comments that you're going to get with that volume that's going to come out. And so in doing that, not only are you creating awareness and brand lift in the digital world, you're also creating an opportunity for comments and reviews, which can give you feedback. So really, the three ways to really leverage comments and reviews, I think you need to think about it in these three ways. Number one is to be able to understand expectation and behaviors of the public and the consumers of your goods and services. And if in 2018 you didn't crank out enough content and garner enough comments, then at least go back and look at your competitors or other businesses that are in your same field, and go read the reviews and read the comments, and look at the hashtags that are being used, because many times they'll put in there hashtag not what I expected, or hashtag I'll never shop here again. That gives you pretty good insight into their sentiment about what they're thinking and feeling. And then number two is leverage those comment and reviews to improve the customer experience. You really want to look at and literally read these comments and think about it and use it as intelligence to help you understand where they are at each step of the journey in that, customer or consumer cycle, or where they are in the purchase process or the journey when it comes to, consideration, and then, making a decision, and then, what happens after the sale, if you will. So look at each one of those steps of that customer journey. So again, if you really want to be able to leverage and improve customer experience, and you want to get feedback on each step of the journey, then, sort of reverse engineer that so that the content, the 1,000 pieces of content that you're going to create this year across all your different platforms, you want to be specific about making sure that you have content that does speak to those different stages, and also, make sure that they are segmented so that you can get feedback from the different segment groups, whether it's, married, female, kids, or single, male, 50 ages or older. You really want to get not only the feedback of where they are, but who they are, so that you can do number 3 in ways to leverage your comments and reviews, is to optimize your marketing campaigns, guys. I mean, there's so many articles that are out there, but many companies have literally changed their product and or services because of the insight and intelligence that they got from the volume of people who made comments about, oh, I don't like, gluten products, or I'm really lactose intolerant, and they've made fundamental shifts in their ingredients and or their processes internally, because they've gained that insight, through listening to what their consumers are saying. And man, it used to cost, $13, $14, $20, $25,000 to have a focus group. Well, guys, if you spend the time and do the research and put in the extra hour instead of, binge watching, whatever show on Netflix, and you put in that extra time, you can gain this insight that we're talking about. And in doing so, you can optimize your campaigns, you can adapt your offerings. And that, my friends, is if you thought about yourself when I said, has your business plateaued or has begun to shrink, you saw those signs in 2019, guys, then it's time for you to think about the fact that disruption, or the consumer has already shifted from your inefficiencies or lack of paying attention to what consumer demand really is in your industry and or your products or services. So it doesn't really matter if you're a local mom and pop operation, or whether you're a freelancer or solopreneur. All of these sort of insights and feedbacks and comments and reviews apply to you. They apply to your business. And when you can gather these 3 things to leverage those comments and reviews, you can understand what the expectation is, and you can adapt. You can improve that experience by understanding how they feel and think about each step of the customer journey. And 3, you can optimize your marketing campaigns for 2019 and adapt your offerings if you need to, based on what you've experienced. So that's it, guys. That is the hidden key to opening the door to growth for your business in 2019. It boils down to comments and reviews. And the only ways you're going to get comments and reviews is for you to crank out content. So I hope, again, I've given you some ideas, some insight about how to move the needle forward in 2019. My name is Michael Wynn. I am the Chief Digital Officer at Digital Ops, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.